Really?
Come.
All right.
Here.
But this is the one tree in the garden we cannot touch. This is the forbidden fruit.
Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? Surely not.
We may eat the fruit of any tree in the garden, except for the tree in the middle of the garden. God has forbidden us to either touch or eat the fruit of that tree, for if we do, we shall die.
You believe that nonsense? Of course you will not die. God knows that as soon as you eat it, your eyes will be opened, and you and Adam will be like gods yourselves.
One day we'll reach the level of the avatars that we have read about in history, the Buddhas, Jesus, infinite ones, God.
You ancient serpent, you cast your spell upon this planet with your graven images and your wishes to be worshipped. Witches and warlocks flock like Harry Potter fans, waiting for your new age plan to spread across the land. You got the masses dumped down where you want them, convinced that you don't exist, and now you got them atheists. Some even think they're evolving to a godlike level above and beyond human. These Luciferian lies feed on ego and pride. They come disguised as an angel of light, like the original sin and the first deception. The tree in the garden, don't you see the connection? It's the same old lie that he used back then at the beginning of time, at the fall of man. Have we forgotten the truth within the book of Genesis? Ignorant of the nature of sin, so we dismiss written words of God as an irrelevant myth, but then embrace all these new age thoughts of nonsense?
It's not good or bad. There's no God waiting to punish you because you did one or the other. There is no God in doing everyone's God. Welcome to the kingdom of heaven, without judgment, without hate, without testing, without anything.
I call my practices and pagan worshiping as fact exists. See through the smoke and the mirrors and the mist. From Atlantis to the American fanatical myths, to the UFO connection with the German SS. Secret society elitists from the east and the west. Illuminati and Masonics, man, it all connects. Satanic worship to the depths we don't want to admit. It's a globalized illusion that we gotta correct. Check the symbols and signs like the all-seeing eye. Read the Bible facts to understand the great design. See the writing on the wall, we're living in end times. And even the elect have now bought into the lie. Real Satanists are dressed up in their suits and ties, eating the fruit like these fools who think they are divine. They aren't evolved, they're just blinded by ego and pride, living a lie that disguised like Jekyll and Hyde. Can you deny that these times were all prophesied? Read Matthew 24:24, you decide.
There's no such thing as good or bad. Judging things practice and tradition. There are things that I do that I know they're impossible. There are other
Darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, the narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs and voices never shared. And no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. In the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming. In the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls, tenement halls, been whispered in the sound of silence.
The church in America is going to suffer so terribly. And we laugh now, but they will come after us, and they will come after our children. They will close the net around us while we are playing soccer mom and soccer dad, while we are arguing over so many little things and mesmerized by so many trinkets. The net even now is closing around you and your children and your grandchildren, and it does not cause you to fear. You will be isolated from society, as has already happened. Anyone who tries to run for office who actually believes the Bible will be considered a lunatic until finally we are silenced. We will be called things that we're not and persecuted not for being followers of Christ, but for being radical fundamentalists who do not know the true way of Christ, which of course is love and tolerance. You'll go down as the greatest bigots and haters of mankind in history. They've already come after your children, and for most of you, they got them. They got them through the public schools and indoctrination and the university and indoctrination, and then you wonder why your children come out not serving the Lord. It's because you fed them right into the devil's mouth. So little by little, the net is closing around, and then it's not little by little. Look how fast things are going downhill just in a matter of weeks. But at the same time, know this: persecution is always meant for evil, but God always means it for good. And is it not better to suffer in this life, to have an extra weight of glory in heaven? You must settle this in your mind. This is the one thing I want to say over and over. Down through history, you have a wrong idea of martyrdom and persecution. You think that these men were persecuted and martyred for their sincere faith in Jesus Christ. That was the real reason, but no one heard that publicly. They were martyred, and they were persecuted as enemies of the state, as bigots, as narrow-minded, stupid people who had fallen for a ruse and can contribute nothing to society. Your suffering will not be noble. So your mind must be filled with the Word of God when all people persecute you and turn on you. This is no game. You want revival and awakening, but know this: for the most part, great awakenings have come only preceding great national catastrophes or the persecution of the church. I believe God is bringing a great awakening, but I believe that he is raising up young men who are strong in trust in the providence of God to be able to wade through the hell that's going to break loose on us. And it will be on us before we even recognize it. Unless in God's providence, he is not done. He is not done.
All right. What is going on, everyone? Steve J and Mo. Got a room full of guests with us today. What's going on, everyone? We got ThatFlatFellow here for the first time, so I figured we'll say what's up to him first. What's going on, bud? How are you?
What's up, Steve? Thanks for having me on. Been excited for a long time to talk about this. And we got, I think, the perfect group of people to talk about this with, because you guys bring so much knowledge and info on this subject, and I think it's going to be an awesome show.
All right, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Glad to have you on, and like you said, I'm sure we're gonna knock this well out of the park. Let's go down below me, and Truth Seeker 69. Jen, what's popping? What's happening?
I literally just hopped on here. I'm so glad you had a long intro because I hate being late.
You know me, Steve. I did that on purpose. I'm like, I don't know if she's around yet, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, I got stuck in Walmart food shopping, but I gave a few people an earful while I was there. I told a lady in front of me about her Diet Dr. Pepper and talked to a few other people about a few things like inverting the breath and how Jesus kills the man of lawlessness with the breath of his mouth. So I'm trying to make people aware of this Bible verse as I'm out there. But yeah, it's going to be a great show today. I'm excited.
That's some warrior stuff. I love it. We got CeilingFanMan, the notorious CFM. What's up, bud?
Hey, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Hi, Jen. Hi, Tommy. And everybody in the chat that's saying hi. I just, a lot of names. It's wonderful. And I'm really excited about this show too. Should be, I can't wait to hear everything that Tommy has to say about Atlantis. That's all really, exciting for me.
Exactly. Hell yeah. I titled this show Africa to Atlantis, and I feel like we're gonna cover everything from there and in between. So with that being said, Ceiling Fan, you want to do a brief little intro and you know, tell everyone what's up, and we'll take it from there. I'll start screen sharing some stuff if you guys want me to do maps or.
Well, before you do that, can I share? As I talk, I'll just share the few pictures that I had here.
Oh, yeah, you do your thing.
Okay, so let's see. Start share here and this. Let's see. Not that one. Let's see, where is it?
And it's 4:20 on the East Coast, so everyone, if you got a pen, got a bowl, hit them up.
I gotta get some weed.
Oh no. Okay, is this on the screen? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. Oh wait, not that one. That one's pretty funny though. If you think that, you know, you can screenshot that.
You showed me that before. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, I didn't know it's still in here. Okay, so basically, Steve and I and Dave Trinity, if he's listening, he covered with us talk about Africa. This is what they show you as our globe Earth. But
shout out Dave, actually, real quick. I love Dave. Good man. Trinity 4. Much love for him, everyone. Be sending prayers out his way for sure. He needs them more than I think everyone on this panel. I'm just speaking from what I think. But Ceiling Fan, back to you, bud.
No, he is going. His family are going through struggle. So yeah, absolutely. Prayers.
Yep, we're on the narrow path.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's not called that for no reason either.
Okay, so this book it's from a book called Chariots of the Gods, and it's a long story. I've talked about it before, but basically, I found this book. It had fallen behind some books on a bookcase, and inside it had an inscription that was written to myself and my brother from my grandfather, who had died when I was like, I think I was around 7 or so when he passed away. And this book, the date on it was 1968 is the copyright. And so at that time I was 2. So when he bought it and he inscribed it, we didn't even know. And it fell behind this shelf until just like a few years ago. In any case, in it, I found this map that shows different type of flat Earth map, and it's putting this area that's always argued over in the center north, and basically the continent of Africa is pretty much close to center north. And when I started looking into that, there's a lot of weirdness with Africa. There's this map in 1805 that shows the mountains of the moons. And it was a mountain range that went all the way across of Africa, but it doesn't exist. And so they even call it the fictional mountain. So why would a map maker put all this in if they weren't actually there? That's the weird thing about Africa, number one. Number two, we found maps like this in Kitcher's map where he shows like a hollow earth opening almost.
Oh yeah, man.
And you guys have covered a thing on your show that looks very similar to these kind of openings. So that's really weird. And then I had this atlas that was given to me. It's a really cool book. Or no, actually, we bought this at a secondhand store. But not only does it still have a North Pole, and we can cover that some other time, but in the Africa picture, where is it? Did I pass it? I think I passed it. It's one of these. It's just there's a lot of things that that are changing in this area as they redo these maps, and specifically there is Mount Meru, which I'm sure we'll talk about, which again is a mountain that's kind of fictional potentially. Where is it? And the fact that the Nile River, the way that it covers that whole area, and it does things that other rivers don't. And again, we can cover that.
Yes.
And then the top of it.
Wow, what's that?
Well, the thing is it's supposed to be in the dormant or volcano.
Right. But what's that?
What's with the Iron Sarin?
Yeah.
And I was
the perfect center. That's nice.
Well, I was thinking
Kilimanjaro?
Yeah, this is Kilimanjaro, and I was thinking that the earthquakes. The volcanoes that you covered, Jen, about how they're like melted buildings. Maybe this is the main Tower of Babel. Look, it's a total spiral shape.
It
could be.
I thought you were gonna say this is the melted building, because it is, man.
It could be. It's supposed to be like the tallest, one of the tallest. Well, here, world's highest freestanding mountain. I know that they argue with Everest, but it doesn't matter. And Uhura, of course, Captain Uhura, she's on.
Captain Kirk,
yeah. But where was it? The last thing, and then this whole song and the rings and stuff. We could go over that, but the main thing is the where to go. And I'm just coming this really fast. I just want to, because I really want to hear what everything has to be said on here. Where are you guys? So that's where Mount Kilimanjaro is, in that area.
Yeah.
And it's also a really weird area because it's in this area, Tanzania. There's certain stones that only come out of this area. Tanzanite only comes from this area. Savarite garnet only comes from the Salva Valley in this area. There's just a lot of things that in this area I think is government owned and stuff. So it just is really odd. None of us really know anything about Africa other than there's wild animals and starving kids there. But then I came across this guy, and when I watched this video, he says right here, let's see, I'll show you. Because the Kilimanjaro, he says
over 100 times.
Where is it? He says that he comes up with the name of Kilimanjaro. I think it's right here. So he says the first part of Kilimanjaro means mountain.
Mountain. Charo means God.
So he's saying the second part means God.
The mountain of God.
Yeah. So my whole thing is, if it's the tallest freestanding mountain, it's got this
G, God, for sure.
Exactly. If God, they talk about, you and I covered a show where Satan sits on top of a high mountain or on a volcano, basically.
Of course. He shows Jesus everything.
Yes.
Right.
That's what I was thinking, Steve.
And so that main temple that got moved, we covered that. It's over in Germany or something. And so I think wherever it was originally, now I believe he probably sits on top of this Tower of Babel. I mean, it's monstrous. You can see it from anywhere. And I thought that was funny. This just came out today that this is the largest volcano in our solar system on Mars.
Yep, just another melted building.
It looks like the top of Kilimanjaro, though, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, so that's my basic idea, is that if Kilimanjaro could be like where he sits, everything in Africa would be center north, like that picture that the thumbnail. And then if that's the case, it says in the Bible that we were kicked out of Eden. And since the upside down world we live in, everything is the opposite. So what do they tell us? They tell us that we live in a certain area of the earth, and if we could, we'd get outside the ice wall, like in Game of Thrones, and on the other side is the promised lands. Well, I'm thinking maybe it's the opposite. Maybe the center north where they don't want us to go. So they make us keep thinking we want to go farther out, when the journey actually goes in, right, within yourself and also in the earth. And if the center and Edom, that we were kicked out of Eden, out of Africa, out of Eden, then trying to go back north, center, probably, I would think, might be where, and that ties in with Tommy, things like Atlantis and all that exist. Because as far as I'm concerned, I can't wait to hear what Tommy has to say, the Atlantis people, if they're the ones that have all the knowledge, well, they'd probably be most likely fallen ones. So that's where I'm sitting. So that's everything I had just to start us off. And what do you guys think? Go from there.
Well, I love it, man. That's one way to start us off. Right down the middle.
So the map that you had up originally of Africa, where it showed that mountain range going straight across.
I can bring that back.
Okay, because I sent something to Steve. The first picture I sent you, Steve, is a picture of the globe and where the desert areas are. Okay, so that line right there in Africa going through the center where the desert starts is right where your line of mountains would be and all those other little countries and stuff. And as you can see here, through Africa, through the Arab countries, and all the way over into India and China, it's all desert. This is an epicenter right here, guys, of the X
That's
Factor.
what I've been thinking too.
Yeah,
I've been telling everyone for a while now. That's where like imagine Beirut, but just on like a 10,000 mile scale. Everything.
So if the X Factor event happened at the center of our plane, which puts it right there where Africa is,
imagine that.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
I think you're right.
That makes sense.
It's crazy.
And that could also explain why all those mountains are missing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
That green dot that you got labeled right there, that's funny because that's almost exactly where Atlantis is located.
Where?
Right.
At the circles?
It's to the right of that in Mauritania.
Wow.
And that's where an earthquake was reported.
Tommy, your level's really low though. Is it just me?
You can turn up your volume a little. Can we go back to Ceiling Fan's map real quick over this one?
Do you want me,
there you go, right there. See that line goes right across Africa there, right? And so that right above those mountains, it's all desert now. So this had to have been like around the epicenter of the X Factor event, the original location of its start, I think. Because that's completely cooked out, all of that. It's just all desert now.
Yeah. And again, how could this entire mountain range just not be there? Why would they bother putting it in these maps?
Exactly. That's very interesting.
And then that next one with this cutout area was at the bottom part of Africa. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely some interior stuff going on there.
That is interesting.
Because if we think that, there are other underneath the earth, there's shale and there's areas, so that could, all be going on, obviously, right?
There could be multiple entrances, Hitler and all of them, they were really intrigued with like Nepal and the Himalayas and all the monks in the mountains. So there could be another type deal like that over there, like the Kilimanjaro.
Well, look, you remember they said there's a mountain range that surrounds the North Pole?
Yeah.
Well, if this is the North Pole, this is the mountain range that surrounds it.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, so you're saying it's in this area?
Yes, it's in Mauritania, and you could find the exact location by looking up the recot structure, and it'll show you it's about 150 miles inland.
So it's somewhere in this area, I guess.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And funny.
Do we have pictures? We should bring up pictures of it.
Yeah, if you look up recot structure or Eye of the Sahara, you'll see the pictures of it.
I've seen that just the other day. That's funny.
You want to pull that one up, Steve?
Yeah, I'm grabbing that.
Okay.
If I can spell. What is that, bro? This is crazy.
Are these little islands still around Africa? I wonder.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are some islands off coast there.
But yeah, Jen, like wherever this range is, it's like from here down is like lush and animals and stuff, and from here up is mostly desert.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where all this weirdness goes on with Tanzania and Savo Valley and things like that. There's a lot of Illuminati
And
things
Ethiopia.
going on there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
You got something? All right, I'll stop sharing this.
Okay, hold on. Check this shit out. This is what he's talking about.
What?
Yep.
What the heck is that?
That's
Well, again, that looks like the center of Mount Kilimanjaro, the same kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What is that, Tommy? What are we looking at?
That is, no, you're looking at Atlantis, and you're also looking at a location that you're not allowed to go to, just like Antarctica.
Of course.
But that's like a supposedly like a mountain range or whatever. But
It
why
looks
is it
like part of
colored?
the machine. That's crazy.
It's actually this is flipped about 180. The picture that he's got on right now, that looks more like it right there.
That one?
Yeah.
What causes the colors? Do they say?
So this particular image right here is where you go into an app and you can raise and lower sea levels. So they raise the sea levels up about 1,800 feet in this photo to see what it would look like if that would be Atlantis. And that's what they got. It looks just like Plato's description of Atlantis.
Yeah, and it's clearly melted. You can see the melt lines and stuff.
See, they want us to not look in north. They want us to look south. But I think
So,
it's north.
If Atlantis went under the waves, if it sunk under the waves, if there was a deluge after the X Factor event, it could have covered this thing up. And then when the waters receded, it just left this.
Exactly. That's what I think happened when Meltwater Pulse 1b occurred.
Mhm.
When all the ices of the Ice Age melted, it happened within 100 years. So the sea levels rose over 2,000 feet. Well, Atlantis, this location, is 1,800 feet above sea level. So just as Plato described, that Atlantis was swallowed by the sea. It was swallowed by the sea for a while, but now the waters have receded, and you're left with this structure. That's a really, really good picture right there, because that'll tie into all the measurements that I have, because I have the Plato's descriptions and all the measurements of what Atlantis would be.
And once again, just like the Fibonacci pattern, the snail shell, everything, it's always the same pattern.
So
This is
whenever people
freaky.
people talk about Atlantis, you only have two sources to reference, and that's Plato's dialogues of Critias and Timaeus. And you have a map that Herodotus, the father of history, it should be pretty easy to find now that people are starting to link this to Atlantis. He has a map of the world at the time, and he has an X on the map, and it says Atlantis, and the X is this exact location.
Whoa.
Plato gives the dimensions of Atlantis, and he says that it's 127 stadia in diameter, which is, since most of us don't know what stadia is, I had to do the conversions myself, which comes out to a little over 77,000 feet or 23.5 kilometers. So if you measure this place across, which is Atlantis, it measures exactly 23.5 kilometers. just as Plato described. And he said to the north, there's a mountain range. And we can see there to the north of this location, there is a mountain range. And the mountain range would be white, red, and black because the minerals are in there. And
Okay, let's pause right there. What's the main thing that they say about Atlantis? This white, red, and black material that they find, that you would find if you found Atlantis. Okay, we have whitewash, we have red brick, and we have black roofing. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
It fits.
It does.
Yeah.
This is gnarly, bro. Like, what the?
So, Tommy, someone mentioned to me yesterday before we were coming on here, I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to ask you. My son had told me about something I didn't know of called the Lemurians, which is supposedly similar, or some people think is also Atlantis people. Do you know about those people? I'm assuming you would.
yeah, I've heard tales of the Lemurians, but I would think that they were more of the people that survived the destruction of Atlantis and moved on to Göbekli Tepe.
Bro, this is ridiculous. What is this? Like, in a good way. Like, what the?
This is wild.
It's perfectly circular. I mean, it's the only thing that you find anywhere that looks like this. It's a complete anomaly compared to everything else we find across the plain.
You could just look at like the ground around it, like miles away from the center. Wow. And it goes up like a terrace, you know?
Or almost like another Babel circle, right?
Yeah.
Incredibly.
It's got like dips and bulges like hell.
Maybe it pancaked down on itself. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's gnarly, bro.
Because we've seen multiple towers, so I'm sure these are all over, and this just looks like another one.
Well, didn't they say at the center of Atlantis was some kind of a mountain, or with some sort of a temple with a crystal on top or something?
That is correct. And it gleamed red in the sunlight because it was made of orichalcum, which was thought to be a myth until 2015 in the Sea of Galilee, in the Mediterranean. They discovered a shipwreck with orichalcum ingots. And the ingots are made from iron, copper, and gold. And to this day, we look at Mauritania's GDP, and their four main exports are gold, copper, fish, and iron. So the three metals that are used to make orichalcum.
Wow.
Just a coincidence.
It's just another one of those instances too, where it's a myth for so long. Like you know, what was his name? There, Gilgamesh. He was a myth, you know. And they found him on the news. You know, they found his temple on the news, and it's just like, so are these myths actually real stories? And they don't ever address that. You know, it's just onto, you know, sports at 5 o'clock or whatever. You know, it's a whole scenario we have to unravel, and it looks like we're the ones that are left to do it. So this is gnarly, man.
And why isn't anybody allowed to go here? What would people find if they went there? What would they find if they started mining this area?
So in Mauritania, there's a travel advisory, and you can go to the capital, but through the travel advisory, they say that it's too dangerous and unstable in the area, that only U.S. government employees can receive special authorization to leave the capital. So you can go to the capital, but you're not allowed to leave. And this place is nowhere near the capital.
So it's like another Antarctica scenario. You can go where they want you to look.
Steve, you just scrolled past a picture of what's on the ground. It looked like right there, some rocks. Yeah, let's look at that if we can zoom in on any of that stuff, because I'm really curious to see. See, that looks all like burnt out melted brick to me.
I was just gonna say, yeah, nothing out of the ordinary for us here, Jen.
Yeah, it's hard to find. It's hard to find these ground level pictures. We have a lot of satellite photos of this place, but we need like some sort of boots on the ground photos of what kind of debris on the ground.
It's crazy though.
Yeah, to most of us, that's wow, look at that. And to Jen and Steve, it's Sunday, you know.
Oh wow. This is definitely something for sure. I mean, it's
Zalmoxis is saying that Australia was originally Sahul, pronounced soul. So there's that interesting.
Jen, look at this. This is in the valley.
Dude.
Come on.
Are we in the Grand Canyon? What is this?
And look at the redness behind it too.
Oh my God. Look at these right angles everywhere.
Unbelievable.
Literal brick. It's a brick. Well, like you're saying, yeah, look at that redness and plateaus like that. I find hella sketchy because, you know, sketchy shit was going down apparently back there. This is crazy, man. Wow.
So is this a protected area? Like, do they
That's
really
what he said,
keep
yeah.
an eye on who goes here and who gets near it and stuff?
They're not describing it so much as a protected area. They just say that there's civil unrest in the country, and it's not safe for people to leave the capital. So that's the story they're using, so that you don't go here and you don't do the experiments that Plato described and said, when you go here and you dig a well on the outer circle, you'll hit salt water, and then the next circle you'll hit salt water. The third circle you hit salt water, and then when you dig at the center island where the mountain was, you dig a well and you hit fresh water, which a team has recently gone and performed that experiment. And they went salt water, salt water, salt water, fresh water, just as Plato described.
Wow.
Now, how did they get in? Do they have some special government program that they're allowed in or something?
So they went into for a study for elephants, because elephants have not been known to be in northern Africa. And one of the things that ties in with Plato is he said there was elephants in Atlantis. So in the Atlantis community, this place is always shunned by other people that want to claim that it's other areas and kind of distract people. But when this archaeological survey went there and they did some digs, they found the bones of elephants, and it happened to rain while they were there. And when it rained, it washed away some of the sand on the outer circle, and they saw fossilized fish, and all the fish are species from the ocean.
Wow. See, this is why they don't want nobody there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So those are actual colors in that photo we're looking at?
I think he said this was the simulation where they filled it up.
That's the simulation where they raised it? Okay.
Correct. So the reason why they did that is because Plato says in Atlantis, to the south of Atlantis. Now, this is the picture. This is what it would look like, but it's just colored a little bit to show you that it is Atlantis. And you can see to the south, there is it opens up and it goes off towards the sea. And when you raise the sea level to 1,800 feet, it goes all the way out to the sea, just as Plato described. And the entrance to the ocean is outside the Pillars of Hercules, as Plato described.
Wow.
So
that is incredible.
What's the official story on this thing? What do they say it is? An impact crater, just a natural formation? What are they trying to say it is officially?
Looks like
so there was a kind of like a volcano that never erupted. It produced a bubble under the surface of the earth and the crust, and it pushed the surface of the earth up. And then when it collapsed, it made that outer ring. Now that it has less power, so when it formed again, it was not as wide as the first circle. So it created the second circle and collapsed, and then the third, and then so on until the volcano became inactive, and it produced that and left it behind.
Yeah,
wow.
The volcano made of red bricks.
The volcano of bricks, yeah.
Yeah, that outer ring there is very Death Valley looking. Ish.
It just looks like one of those giant fortresses, Jen, like a castle or some fucking whatever.
Dude, this could have been the Tower of Babel and it completely melted down. You know what I mean? Flattened out. Who knows? I'm just saying, it's definitely not a natural formation. Wow. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. Middle of the desert. Just mining some bricks, minding my business, you know?
Again, every time there's anything associated with anything that we call a volcano, you're going to find red brick or cooked out red brick in the area.
Crazy, isn't it, Jen?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now, if you look at the area above it, Plato described a plateau. And he said, you'll know it's Atlantis. You'll see the plateau above and the plain below it. And we can see the plateau above it. Mm-hmm. And it fits the exact measurements that Plato gave of the plateau. And below it, he said the plain will be rectangular in shape, and to the south it'll have a kind of triangular point. And if you look at the plain below it, it's exactly that, and it measures the exact dimensions of what Plato gives.
Wow. There's probably a shit ton of stuff here that you would find if you started poking around, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
This is gnarly, bro. Like, this is probably the craziest shit we've looked at in a while, Jen, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we looked at this, but we were just like on a rampage one day. We were just like, oh, red brick. And we just, you know.
Click on that picture there where they have Atlantis. They have 3 different pictures in one. Yeah, there you go. Let's click that one. There you go. Yeah, that definitely. definitely makes sense right there.
Yeah, this is, I would picture more something like this, a little more upward, maybe like 5 or 6 more tiers actually. And just the most incredible, like you said, fresh water around it, of course. Incredible stuff.
You know, it's interesting because here on the right hand side, you see all these lines leading to the center.
Yeah,
And John Levy recently did a video where he was finding anomalies out in the middle of nowhere where all these lines were converging into one center point. So there may have been a lot of other places that were designed after this Atlantis thing, like the structure of it, maybe similarities in the flow of energy of what they were trying to do, kind of like you see one of those, the Arch of Triumph, how all the streets in France, in Paris, lead to the
homages
Arch of
everywhere.
Triumph.
Yeah.
Can I break in real quick and say something? So, you mentioned this to me, Steve, but this is actually being streamed on both of Steve's channel, his regular and his backup. And for the 15 people or so that are in the backup channel, I'm throwing the link in there. That's where the rest everyone is. So if you want to watch it live and talk to everybody, come on over there. Is where we're at.
Cool.
I hope I put it in the right one.
Like the original photos, black and white, perhaps. Let's look at that. Wow.
I wonder if we can find the earliest photos of this thing, if there's any early photo expeditions out here or anything.
It's 1967 is supposedly the earliest aerial photo of it, and it was taken by a pilot, and he kind of just kept it under wraps for the early 1970s. And then he said, "Hey, I found this thing here. It kind of looks like Atlantis," and it's super weird that Richard just talked about Chariots of the Gods. That's a book by Eric von Daniken, and this guy was looking into the Nazca lines, and Eric von Daniken had been talking about that as well as part of the Chariots of the Gods. And he related this to Atlantis and then came forward with the information. So that's the earliest aerial photography of it that I know of.
And you know what? What's interesting too about this book that I found, there's the only 2 things in it. There's a blank piece of paper at a chapter that I found really fascinating because the page that it's on, it talks about flat Earth. And
really?
Wow.
And the other, it's just a blank piece of paper that was wedged in.
Jen,
what's this?
That's on your way there.
Oh, excellent. And the
Look at
last thing real quick, Tommy, is he put a note in here on a little card, and it says, "You guys will need a good geographical world map and an unabridged dictionary." So those are my only instructions.
Well, that's crazy, man.
That's what I said too, man. Like, what?
And I have talked about it before. He was a 32-degree Mason, and I truly believe they showed him 33, and he said, "I'm out," because he packed up. He moved across the country. They even altered their last name.
Wow.
And he already had 2 kids at that point. And he was really high up, and he helped start a few temples that actually did good work for children and stuff. And he used to go there and show movies and stuff for kids that couldn't see him on their own. In any case, when he came out to California, he never went back. He never went to a Masonic meeting ever again.
Stay on that, Steve.
And he just disappeared from it all. And he died early of a quote heart attack. So there's that.
Interesting.
I think they didn't want him. They wanted him to leave, and they just took him out. Is what I think.
Right.
I think he was trying to hide, and they found him because he changes. Who changes their name after you've been established all those years and have 2 kids?
Yeah,
no one does that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, from what I've heard too, they don't fully initiate you until like the Luciferian doctrine till 33. So if that's the case, good for him for trying to shake it out, and hopefully that was good enough to get his ticket punched. So,
well, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to say one thing. I covered Mauna Loa the other day, and I was showing people again the structures that are up there. Steve, if you can zoom back in on this, especially that rock wall right there that's in the front. We saw structure like this all over Mauna Loa. Granted, it was more cooked out, but you still see a lot of rubble and right angles everywhere. Now, this is a perfect example of what you would see up on Mauna Loa. It would have just been more cooked out, but you were still seeing right angles everywhere and stuff. Now, see how this is everywhere? It's all over the place. This is exactly what we were seeing up on Mauna Loa. It was just cooked out more. and see some partials of these walls sticking up. Could be what people would consider windbreakers up there on Mauna Loa.
Windbreakers.
Yeah, windbreakers. We saw many things that look like melted down walls, like you see over here. All this brick stacked up, doesn't have any mortar anymore. It's all cooked out. But on Mauna Loa, it's more blackened. It's more cooked out, but you can still see right angles everywhere. So a lot of people were saying, well, you know, these people, they hike up there, they stack these rocks. It's a thing. I get that. But what I'm also saying is that there's structure everywhere. And I feel like a lot of these supposed windbreakers are just leftover pieces of wall and maybe entrance ways to certain areas where they would have a pillar on either side. Look at that. Yeah.
It's incredible. Like, look at this thing that made it. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's really castle looking.
Desolate in the background.
Now this is on the way to the eye of the Sahara. Is this what you're saying, right?
What it said, yeah.
Wow.
Forbes. That's what Forbes said. Take their word for what it's worth. Incredible, huh?
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Wait, what's that? What's that? Go down a little bit over to the right. That guy standing right there. What is that thing? Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. Let's see.
Tell you, there's a lot of weird stuff in Africa that we don't know about. They never showed me that.
Yeah, that's near the Recot structure. That's like, so you have that city, basically that desolate city that's just rubble now. And then this structure here, this formation's on the way.
This is like flow lines, like a flow line of some hot magma, you know, rock, red bricks.
Clearly just like it got so hot and devastated. There's just a ripple in the land, and like it was molten, and somehow, some way, I haven't figured it out yet. It just cooled instantly along with everything else. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I bet like if you had like the right type of like pants on, you could like just slide right down here, no problem. It's probably silky smooth.
Yeah. And look at the way the mortar lines run consistently through everything. You can take one line and follow it all the way down, around, and through the whole
all the way back home, right?
Well, look at the one across. It goes across and cuts the room in half at the top, or a third, whatever. See that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that real long one. No, all the way across. Yeah, that thing. It's almost like the spine of an animal, similar things. You know, it's just wild. Look at those lines.
This is
very interesting. I know somebody else said when they were talking about giants, and these are pieces of giants, like the muscle or something. You know, I don't know. All I know is it's not a natural structure. For me, most of them are buildings. I know a lot of people have issues with hearing that everything's brick or red brick or yellow brick or whatever. And that, you know, I mean, I think there's a place in here for a little bit of everything. There was definitely giants. There was definitely giant vegetation. There was definitely giant animals back then. This whole world was completely different than what we're experiencing now. So I think in a lot of respects, there's room for all of this stuff. But the main thing that we need to know is that these are not natural structures. These are not something that took millions of years to form and all this stuff.
And I like Mad Pyman says NASA will probably use those images for Mars or one of their planets next, right?
We found Atlantis. It's on Mars.
Yeah. Well, we're already mapping out Greenland, so they got to switch and give us something else, right?
Oh, this is amazing stuff.
One of the things
that to the table, man, this is good stuff. I didn't mean to interrupt you taking over.
Oh, it's no problem, man. I got a whole book written out on it, just Atlantis. I've been looking at this for about 12 years. And
how did we not tap you before this? This is awesome.
I don't know. I've done a lot of interviews on it on a whole bunch of different channels before I got into flat Earth. But the things that Plato talks about Atlantis is that as you look at flat Earth, and we've all seen that map with the extra land beyond Antarctica, and you look at the extra land beyond Antarctica, and it forms concentric circles kind of around the ring. And we are the center part of the larger picture of Atlantis, so to speak.
Well, I was thinking that.
Yeah. And
I was thinking that our whole plane is Atlantis. This whole thing was Atlantis, and the outer ring, the ice wall, is part of it.
And that's what Plato describes. He says that this Atlantis that we see here with the concentric circles, that's not the empire of Atlantis. That is the city of Atlantis. Atlantis was much, much larger.
Yes.
And he says, you know, you had the Nile River ran east to west. And we look back in the old maps with Herodotus, and it shows the Nile River running east to west, and that Egypt was a colony of Atlantis and had access to Atlantis' technology. So when we ask, all right, well, how were the pyramids built? Well, they had access to, by being a colony of Atlantis, they had access to all their technology. And I've heard a lot of theories on you see all these you see all the towers everywhere, and obelisk, and we look back on that and we don't really equate it, but people like y'all, this is why I wanted to come on here. That's a communication network pretty much like we use today with the towers, and you see them all over Europe and all over northern Africa. And I think, like, you zoom in from above and you see like the circuit board formation and all that. And I think that's the ancient technology that we're just rediscovering today. And then when you see these media techs come up on stage and talk about, here's the new iPhone or the new thing that we created, and they always want to use the word create because now they are the creator, and it's just another way of separating us from the actual creator.
Well, it also looks like the macro and the micro. Okay, so the micro would be like the eye of the Sahara, and other locations would be the microcosm of the larger scaled empire of Atlantis, which is all circular and shaped like a torus field. So it would make sense that they would utilize the natural plane itself and the way it's laid out, and to make their cities in the same fashion, to also collect that energy in and out, as above, so below, as within, as without. There you go.
Just thought it was appropriate.
And like I said before, when you take the torus field and flatten it out onto our plane, that if the ley lines on our plane form the flower of life. And most of these main cities, including that whole strip through Africa that is all charred out, and it goes over into Saudi Arabia and also over past India and stuff, that would be that inner circle, that inner ring there. Maybe, the main blast zone or something. That's a major ley line right there in the flower of life when you look at it on a flat plane.
And that pattern, that flower, the Fibonacci, it's everywhere. We were on a walk and my wife showed me, she took a pine cone that was, fairly still flexible. And if you yank on it and start twisting it like you're unringing a dish towel, it forms a single spiral. It's all one piece that's then just twisted together and creates the pine cone.
Yep.
Like that pattern's just in everything.
Yeah. And it would make sense if these are, highly intelligent beings that are in tune with the plane itself and how things work, because maybe they were the original ones. They saw how it was all created.
That's what I like to say too. I'm like,
yeah,
guys, they witnessed creation. You don't think they took their notebooks out, especially if they thought about falling, it's falling away. They would definitely stick around for that and then be like, okay, now we feel like we know enough, but that's their ego setting in. It's dripped onto the human ego as well, and that's a downfall of a lot of people. But I'm just showing here more examples of the circuit board technology and how it's just indistinguishable from quote unquote ancient quote unquote ruins.
Yeah. And when you start to look at these ruins and where their locations are, you find out that they're all on major ley lines, which is where you would want to put your grid system. You want it on those energy lines because that's what's collecting the energy. And then you're also collecting it from the ether as well.
Yep. And Ceiling Fan, you were saying something. What's up, bud?
Oh, no, I was going to show you real quick. I looked up the Lemuria people that
I got you.
Tommy was talking about.
Down. You're on. You're live.
Look at the very first thing you see.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
What else do you want in there? You got the snake eating its tail. You got this. You got this.
You got this, that, and the whole nine, baby.
All that in a bag of chips.
Wow.
All right. So look at it this way, guys. The Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, is the ice ring on the outside. And then you have the as above, so below, which would be on main ley lines there. And then you have the Ankh in the center, which is the giver of everlasting life, everlasting energy. It's like a lithium battery, except this never runs out of energy. It's everlasting. So for me, this is like a map of our world, kind of, is what we're looking at here. It's not just like negative symbols. This is how I feel like the torus field works.
Well, just like this originally was, I think, the Hopi Indian is life, and some people say it's the trail of what's that Big Bear constellation, Polaris, or no, was it? Come on, help me. The Big Dipper. They say that that's the path of the Big Dipper. I mean, there's all kinds of things, but just the fact that it has every one of these symbols in there.
So if you look at electronics, okay, there's symbols for electronics. So if you know the symbols, you don't have to read all this stuff, right? What we're looking at here are symbols. It's instructions, just like when you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs. They're not just some spiritual symbols. They're actually instructions if you know how to read it.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. These are really good pricks.
Wow. Freudian slip there. All right.
Look at that, though. That's crazy.
Have you been drinking this evening, ma'am?
Not yet.
You're going to give me a hard time. Now they're okay, whatever.
I haven't smoked any weed yet. That's the problem.
Well, hurry up. It's 420 somewhere, as Tommy said. The other Tommy. Sorry, Tommy.
Also, I'd like to point out here, you're looking at Teotihuacan there on the one side off to that green one there. It's Teotihuacan. There you go. When you zoom in on Teotihuacan and start looking at their supposed volcanic rock that they made these pyramids out of, they're all just cooked out bricks, guys.
Oh, 200%.
Yeah.
200%. This isn't just, it's not a coincidence, people.
Yeah, look at that. Come on.
Look at that. That's
so
nuts
stupid.
right there.
You can almost take that Mexico picture and put it on top of that sea picture, and it would line up almost exact.
Yeah. Do you know what it would take to do a project like this? I mean, this is massive.
Especially if you can't see the view from the air. They're just, they're that smart. They can figure this out.
Steve, that's great right there. Now, that's a perfect example of how certain things melt down partially, certain things melt down completely, other things look like they're perfectly fine, but the whole grid is Baroque.
But actually, wait, go back. I know this picture. 2 planes hit that one. I've seen that on somewhere. Okay, keep going.
Wow, beautiful. Look at this. Tokyo, I believe. France, one of the two. I don't know.
Look at the mountain way in the back.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's Tokyo.
That's fucking flat.
Look at the grid everywhere, man. You can't escape it.
And I feel like these rivers are man-made. They're too perfect. They're aligned too perfectly along the edges, the banks.
Again, I've showed you the rivers around here. A lot of them, they got the brick borders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right?
All of them do. And they're like, oh, it's a Chicopee River. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, who's laying brick on the side of the fucking river?
Chicopee or the river? You tell me.
I guess everybody that was heading that way, they gave them some bricks along with their donkey and said, here, could you drop a few of these on your way?
No. Wow. Real quick, this is how easy it is to bring out a couple motherboards, and there's your city.
Yeah, that looks like Hampton Court over there.
Isn't it crazy?
That's wild.
Incredible. And there's
you get to that point, we should play a game. Is it a circuit board or city? I bet people would have trouble.
Yes, that would be really good.
This one would get people, I feel.
What are those, Ferris wheels?
Exactly.
Look at
wow.
that.
You wouldn't even know.
No, really, dude.
You wouldn't even know. I don't even know.
Like billboards almost, those little ones sticking up, right?
I think they are. This might be a city. I don't know.
We already played the game.
We've already lost.
That's a city? See, we've already lost on the game we're creating.
Roads and cars? I don't know. What is
it? We read that article about, it says, what was it? Las Vegas looks like a circuit board at 10,800 feet.
Yeah. This is identical to Pittsburgh, actually.
Okay, so that one I can see is a circuit. Go back to the other one. Chat, is that a circuit board or city?
Yeah, but real quick, why does a circuit board have
a bridge?
Have a river? Why does a circuit board have a river and a boat, bro? I don't understand.
Wait a minute. Somebody did this. They're just doing like art projects, right?
I hope so.
You didn't crack open a computer and find that.
I hope not, man.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's an Xbox 360.
Oh my God.
Good God.
Yeah, we're already playing it. The city or circuit
board.
Look
at this. Yeah. This is crazy, guys.
The Death Star's in the top of that one.
And we looked at Saxiawam. Saxiawam looks exactly like a circuit board. Steve, I remember Steve was completely blown away by Saxiawam. But these are in China, these ones, yeah. And that one has a moat around it. That one has a moat around it. That one period on the pyramid on the upper left. Yeah, that's crazy. They're not talking about all the pyramids in China, and they're everywhere.
They don't want, yeah.
You're saying it wrong. It's China.
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 Yeah, look at all these. And like even like through the forestation, you can still tell, you know, perfect squares. Like I wonder what's popping over here in the woods, you know. Incredible.
Wow. See, to me, that looks like it got pummeled by a wave and then the waters receded and that's what's left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it was on your guys' stream I saw at least a bunch of people done, but I saw on yours first was there are lines and stuff in areas like, say, in the desert you can find on maps that there's no supposed city's ever been there, but yet they're mapped out like there's a whole neighborhood there.
Yeah. Steve, that's massive, whatever that is.
I mean, know. I was going to say something like this, buddy.
Huge rectangle there. There's this huge rectangle straight off, and the whole picture is the rectangle, it looks like. And then you get all these little ones and stuff. But these are miles and miles and miles, guys. This is massive undertaking of earthworks.
It looks like there's entire neighborhoods and cities built out that aren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's the park, you know.
Yeah, you can see the neighborhood and the streets. Yeah, this is the stuff. This is wild. Like, why are those lines all there? What was there before?
In the middle of the woods, you know.
Because they say that Tesla runs on its own GPS system. It doesn't use the ones we have. So then the next question that no one asks is, okay, where's it coming from? So there's already a grid system somewhere mapped out that they're using. Could it be the same one? Maybe.
Could be.
Yeah, I love this picture. Because when you zoom in on this, like, you can't tell. It could be any city, anywhere. Especially, like, as you scroll up here and you see the tall buildings, it's like it reminds me of Atlanta as I'm flying, coming up on Atlanta, and you see all the buildings coming up here in the distance.
And yes, I do watch. I haven't watched in a while, but I do watch John Levi, however you say it. I like how he never tells anyone, so we all guess. That's a cool program. Look at that. Okay, now that's a circuit board. Okay, some of these are easy.
Some of them.
Well,
okay, this is my favorite. This is an corroded circuit board. It looks very desert-ish, though, like the stuff we see in Africa.
Imagine that. Incredible.
Again, certain things are completely melt down and corroded away. Other things you can still make out what they were. Clearly, the whole thing's Baroque. It doesn't work, but yeah. I mean, there's your stadium in the middle.
And I have a comment. So Anne was mentioning that maybe some of those lines we're seeing are deer trails or animal trails. Okay, but if that's the case, they walk in complete straight lines because all those edges were right corners, weren't they?
Right angles.
Yeah.
Can't escape them.
So.
Yeah, this one's a good one too. I really like this one. You can see what looks like the Roman, Greco-Roman buildings.
I was going to say, what do you think this is? Ruins or a bad board?
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to point out, guys, these are columns on these components. You see the columns there in the background. We see columns everywhere. It's part of the technology. It's part of the component grid system. There you go.
Fucked me up, yeah. There it is. CERN, ITER, everything they've ever
the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, the Atlantis sketches. It's all coming together.
Yeah,
looks just like Atlantis.
Exactly.
Yeah, incredible. Like you think these are cars, but they're just structures.
Absolutely amazing. That is a component. It's a machine of some sort.
It's
wow. See, that looks like the last circuit board we looked at, the eroded one, the corroded one, but this one's actually a temple of some sort. So this would be a good one for that game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. And apparently there's a discussion on the deer thing. It was a joke, but even so, I think we try to explain away things, the normie society does. And their things are just as silly as that. So, no, it's funny, though. or
Yeah, but
military
when you
deer.
see game trails, they run for a little bit in a certain direction, but then they veer off and come back.
Yeah.
And animals don't really do perfectly straight runs. I mean, just watch your cat walk around or whatever. If they're outside, they always walk a little straight and then go a little sideways and then walk a little straight and come back over.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, I know we're not saying that was what it is, but if the normal world is going to try to describe what they're seeing, if they try to use that excuse, it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, we're next. This is fun.
Well, I could go over a few more things
Yes.
in case anyone has any doubts that that area is Atlantis. I actually have some stuff that no other Atlantis researchers brought forth that, to my knowledge.
Bring it.
One of the things, when we talk about Atlantis and the Atlantis community, we go over the list of 51 things that Plato describes through his dialogue, but only 31 of those things are verifiable today. Like, you're not going to be able to find out who the second cousin of the third king of Atlantis was 11,500 years ago. Like, that'd be almost impossible to verify. But so the 31 things that we can verify, I've got it down to 30 of the 31 things. And one of them that's kind of slipped other researchers is the first king of Atlantis' name was Atlas, according to Plato. So done a lot of digging, and I found out that the first king of Mauritania, his name was Atlas, which is where the Recot structure is located. And so by putting 27 or 28 of these together, it's already like all the other locations that's been presented, they're blown out of the water because none of them just match everything. And so they try to slip you up with some of the ones that no one can verify, like the bull worshiping that went on in Atlantis. And they say, well, there's no one around there that worships bulls anywhere. And they say, you know, there's still pockets of old religion everywhere else you look, except for where you're claiming Atlantis to be. There's still people in Greece that worship the old gods, you know, just small pockets of people. And I found a nomadic tribe that conveniently are located. They go right around the area of the Recot structure, and they worship a god called Gino, which is the holy bull, and they are bull worshippers. So there they are. That's little pocket of civilization. These nomadic tribes still right there. And earlier in the show, y'all were talking about the Nile River and how it had not been, you know, it's moved all over time. And, you know, right now they're building that big dam there for the electricity. So they're fighting back and forth over the Nile River currently. It's just not making any news because all the countries. Go ahead.
You said the Nile River runs east to west, or at least it did. Isn't it running north to south now? And it's the only river that runs north?
It does. Yes, it runs north to south now. But if you look at Herodotus' map, I only have a phone. I don't have a computer, so I can't screen share it. You should be able to find Herodotus, the father of history, and it'll show a map, and it shows the Nile River running east to west. And the temple that has all the old records in it, if you look at kind of where it's laid out, going east to west, if you diverted it so it goes north to south, right kind of at the corner there was a temple called the Temple of Sais, and it was run by a priest named Sanchez, and he kept what was called the oldest records of humanity in there, and that's where Solon went and got the original story of Atlantis. And when the Nile River ran north to south, that entire area is now underwater, and we can't go verify or discover any of this stuff. So I just think it's ironic. Earlier, y'all were talking about, you know, the Nile River and how it plays, you know, back into the story of Atlantis. If Egypt wanted to no longer be a colony of Atlantis, and the only means of travel between the two was this river, because the northern Sahara was complete desert at the time, then what's the best way to break away from Atlantis is get rid of the route of travel between the two. So divert it, make it go north to south, cover up the records of Atlantis in this temple, and then now you have your own water source, and you're no longer a colony of Atlantis. You're your own independent nation, so to say.
Also, if you go east of the Nile River, past the pyramids, and keep going east out in there, right before you get to like maybe like Libya or something, there's a lot of interesting stuff that they find out there in the desert. Structures, all kinds of stuff. They don't know where it came from or what it is.
Right. So if the Nile River ran east to west, you would have stopover points. You're not just going to go the entire length of Africa. So these structures and stuff that are in the middle of nowhere, that when you put the Nile River back on the map and put it going east to west, they all go along the border where the river used to run. And so that explains why those structures are there. But it's just something they don't teach us.
Can you bring
Right.
this back up as he's talking? This map. Is it
Yeah,
showing?
you're sharing.
Okay. So here, check this out, Tommy. Can you see this? So here's exactly what you're saying. Now this book, this is that thing I bought at the secondhand store, and it's an atlas from the heck year is this thing? 1926. And it's showing what you're saying there. Do you see it says High Atlas, and here's the Atlas. And it's in the area where it used to be Morocco, a little below it.
Right. So even to this day, the areas are named after the ancient kings that were there. And I wish we could find that map from Herodotus. It would just give people a visual representation of what he thought the ancient world looked like.
So then where's the Nile on this one here? Let's see.
Of course, there's stories of Egypt being lush land and that there was no deserts when all this was pre-X Factor. This was a lush landscape where, life flourished.
Pretty much every animal of the world lived in Africa, supposedly. Huh.
Sorry.
But if you do put the flat Earth map and you make this center north, I mean, here you go. Don't they? This is the Red Sea. This is the area everyone always fights about. The sea, just interesting. But if you say that Atlantis was maybe all of the living space and this was just like the main city kind of thing, well, that would make sense. That don't they call this an atlas of all the countries of the world, and also the guy holding up the world, isn't his name? Is it Atlas that holds up the Earth?
It's Atlas. So all these names come back to this, and we just don't really sit down and take the time and analyze the etymology of the words and the root words and see, hey, all this is going back to Atlantis.
Like here, what's an Anglo-Egyptian? That's an interesting thing. Is that a white Egyptian? What is this?
Anglo-Egyptian. That's interesting. Also, when we look at the desert and the way it comes, like I was saying, the way it comes across Africa into Saudi Arabia and up through towards India, it's on a curve. And that's the way the ley line pattern is when you put it down on the flat plane, the flower of life pattern. And of course, the center bullseye of our plane, which we're considering it to be this North Africa area, is all on that curve. And I feel like that's where the X Factor event originated. That's where it branched out from.
And it's right about like we were showing the mountains of the moons would have been here. And everything up here got melted and everything down here still has some lushness to it. Even though they tell us these are all dead areas that people can't live in. I think that's just
I remember
the propaganda coming out of there.
I remember an old map of Africa. I think it was even a video that I still have on my computer. That Africa is nothing like what they told us. It looked like just like the rest of the world, with the same kind of buildings and everything. They're hiding so much stuff below that line down where it's all lush now and everything, and it's all jungle and stuff. They're hiding a lot of stuff, just like South America.
Yeah, I don't see them riding the Nile River on here, but a lot of weird places like Bahar el Avab or Arab, I guess. I don't know. It's interesting.
There's no Nile on here at all?
Well, I mean, do you see it listed? I mean, I can see water going through in these areas. Help us out, Tom. You know this area better.
It should be up towards, it would start up there in Egypt. We should be able to trace it.
The Mediterranean there. There you go.
There's
there
Nile
it is.
right there.
I see it.
Towards the right of Egypt.
Yeah.
Right there where Cairo starts, and then follow it down.
Okay, here we go. So here we go. And then it kind of goes this way.
There's a lot of waterways through Africa. I feel like these were the highways of the world back then. They did a lot of sailing and had different types of airships and water ships and stuff. But it seems like there's rivers and canals everywhere.
And one of the things, going back to what I was saying about the Nile and that dam that's going to take place, and it's a 4-year construction, is that the Nile River will run dry. When it happens, everything downstream. And what's it tell us in Revelations about the Nile? That will run dry as a signal of the end times. So that's happening right now.
Really? Do we have any pictures of that? We
and
should try to get us pictures.
they're fighting there now. They've got like missile defense batteries and stuff set up across this dam construction, and there's fighting all along this area because all the countries that are to the south that rely on this water source, they're like, well, if you guys, run this river dry for 4 years, we've got no water for 4 years. So there's a lot of fighting going on there right now.
Where's the fighting happening? Which part of the Nile? Up at the top here or farther down?
No, it's farther down. It's like kind of, I would say it's right there near like Aswan on that map, somewhere right in there.
Aswan.
It's if you zoom in and kind
here,
of go,
Aswan. I see Aswan.
It's right in that area right there.
Wow.
Because Egypt's building this giant hydroelectric source to power their cities, but
so right around the Tropic of Cancer, you're saying?
Yeah.
And also right there at the Euphrates, where the two rivers break apart there, and it's supposed to be the tears running down the face of something. I forget what they say in the Bible, but anyway, that's where supposedly some of the fallen angels are chained up underground. Because the soldiers there won't even go near that area. They said that they can't. They don't even want to guard this area because there's these entities get into their heads and start talking all these weird
home and dreams. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder what Mount Sutumba is. That might be interesting to look at next. Huh. There's the Suez Canal in this area too. And this is interesting. There's a place called Alexandria. All right.
I think there's a reason why there's so much fighting going on all through these areas. All of it is because they don't want. People cannot be free to just walk around and look at stuff. Look what happened with Vesuvius. People walked up there and probably saw all kinds of stuff. They had to bomb it.
Right.
If they keep everybody fighting in the area and keep these areas like no-go zones for the average person, only military use, they can hide a lot of shit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. You got Mecca over here too, don't forget. Wow.
And one of the things that just recently happened, but they call it like a terrorist bombing or something, but Gobekli Tepe ties into Atlantis, and they just destroyed a lot of stuff in that area with bombs and.
That's in Turkey, right?
Correct. And Gobekli Tepe, like Plato says, the Atlantis was destroyed 11,500 years ago. He said about 9,500 or 9,200, but when we add to where we are now, it's 11,500 years ago. When you look at when Gobekli Tepe was started, that was 11,500 years ago. And it was just a hunter-gatherer society. And within 20 years, it became the birthplace of all agriculture, according to modern history. Now, a hunter-gatherer society, in order to have time to build buildings in giant 50-ton blocks and construct these temples that are there at that time, they have to have agriculture to free up some of their time. And for it to happen that quick, we know that it wasn't a discovery of agriculture, but more of a transference of technology is a term that's used. And that giant building that's there in the giant temple in Gobekli Tepe is the world's first north-south aligned building, where it's directly due north-south. And the fact that all that took place right at the timeline that Plato said that was the destruction of Atlantis, it's my personal belief that the Atlanteans moved in the area and did give that transference of technology.
Wow. And the other thing, this goes along with this idea too, that like this was a budding area of technology and machinery and whatever. And then when it got blasted, because if you go down here, this area of Africa is what's called Freetown, is basically the largest area where we get most of the mined diamonds of the world come out of here. And I also wonder that there's French Guinea, there's French West Africa, French Sudan. I didn't know the French were down here, but in any case, so you got diamonds over here. You got other gemstones over here. Some of them in Tanzania you can only find here. There's a lot of different minerals and gemstones and stuff coming out of here, which would make sense if all this stuff melted down and it all ended up here.
And I would have to say those buildings had unique features built within them that created those types of crystals, or they just haven't gotten to the other buildings around the plain that have that technology in it that melted down into those particular crystals. But heat and pressure creates this stuff.
What's the Ivory Coast made of? And the Gold Coast, is it actually just got gold in it? I could stare at these things all day, but
I love this stuff.
oh, this is a different one. That was from Brian and Karen.
But see, there you go. Look at that one river there leading off. It looks like the Nile. Do you see it?
Where are we
Now,
looking?
if this was what you said, Africa is the center of the plain, right? There's the Nile River right there. You know, do you see it branching off there? That one river coming off of
Where?
Mount Meru with the delta and the Nile. It looks like the Nile River. It's got all the branches on it. Do you
Am
see
I
it?
looking? No, where am I looking?
Okay, look
top
at this.
shelf. Top shelf.
Top shelf up here. Oh, okay.
Right,
Here we
right there, you can see the finger-looking branches of the river, just like the Nile has. You can see it. It's on the very center bullseye.
The center bullseye.
Ma-
Oh,
yeah,
you're talking here. Oh,
Yes,
okay. I'm
there
on
is
board.
the Nile River. So if this is the center of the plain, like that picture of Africa you just had, well, there's the fucking Nile. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And once again, as above, so below, it reminds me of a tree. And, you know, the branches of the tree, at the other end of the tree, the roots look the same. So it makes sense if, you know, the water's coming in, flowing through, that it would have openings on both ends to get in and out.
Yeah, that's always reminded me of the Nile River. Whenever I saw these four rivers and the Mount Meru in the center, I always thought, man, that looks a lot like the Nile River. So why does that look like that?
Yeah, pause there.
So we got, let's
Yeah.
see.
Wow.
You got Asgard, the
Wow.
Guardians of the Sky Goddess. Then however you say this, Lidsville, what does it say? Lids, Salem? Something like that.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Look down low. No bueno.
No bueno. That snake down there.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
It looks like hell.
Yeah, right.
I
Look
see
at that thing on the
Nephilim or
side,
something.
though. What's that?
Is that-
thing doing?
What?
That's the dragon. He's just eating the tree. That's not nice.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
A dragon and a snake. And a squirrel. I always knew squirrels were evil. Damn it.
Where's
I
the
knew it.
squirrel at? Oh, I see the squirrel.
He's right here. My dogs hate squirrels, and now I understand why. They come from hell.
He's trying to swerve us off the road.
You dogs, you were right. Okay.
Are those icebergs in the water down there because hell's frozen? I don't know. It's just probably
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah.
No,
Icebergs.
you're right.
And there's something dripping in here out of that tree trunk. And this one's touching a pizza. What does that say? Something well. Like it's
Where's
hard
it
to
say
read
well at? Where does it say well?
It says WELL. I can't see what this first part
Because there's
says.
a well in hell. Remember,
Well-
Steve, the well?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this tree's in it. Huh.
Wow. Yeah, the 9 circles of hell, man. That's
This
just
is
crazy.
something living, I don't know, sphere? I can't tell. But yeah. But see this shape in here again. I think that's why I grabbed this. That looks like that one, wherever it is, that one photo I had of the mountains. Let's see, it was back here, I think. Where it has the hole in it. Yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah.
I just keep seeing that a lot.
Let's zoom in on that. Can you zoom? How far in can you zoom on this
that was
hole
good.
here? 'Cause there's some stuff going on in
Well,
there.
that's about as good as it gets, and the words get kind of blurry.
You can't read that at all. You don't know what it says.
No. I could try to find where I got this.
Definitely the interior for sure.
It's from a map, if you can find it. It's called the this is the only picture I can find on an article. It's called the Kircher map of the mountains of the moon. So maybe we can find it.
It's interesting because if you follow that opening and go straight up Africa, straight up to where the like the Nile would be, which would be
Over
the
here.
center, it's kind of like that as above, so below. So you'd have Mount Meru up in that center part around Cairo and in the Mediterranean there. But if you go straight down, you'll get to this thing.
Okay, I got a question. Maybe I've just had too much 420, but check this out. If this is, say, an open mouth, and Kilimanjaro would be that weird circle eye, and the eye of the Sahara, or whatever that Atlantis thing Tommy just showed, it would be another eye. It's almost like a big face on Africa. Are you guys seeing that? I mean, you have to imagine, because Kilimanjaro eye would be over here somewhere, and Atlantis eye would be over here.
That's interesting because they say like how Hollywood or California, something like that. It's supposed to be the mouth chakra or the voice, and that's why Hollywood's there, because they kind of like put out all this stuff. It's like the voice of the whatever. I don't know how it works.
What's the symbolism of this?
Cracked ball.
They're cracking open the globe, the light. I don't know, what is this? Because remember, even though history got killed and rearranged and stuff, the map makers, that's why my grandfather wrote this and said, get a good unabridged dictionary and a good map. The map makers left clues of what things used to look like. You wouldn't pay a guy to do this and it doesn't exist. Or why, again, this guy should never have had another job. They'd be like, what are you doing? There's no mountain range here, you nut job. Why would you pay someone to make you this map?
That is so crazy.
What's his name? Map was made by John Carey Engraver. Is that what it says?
John Kerry. Didn't he run for president?
Skull and Bones, 322.
Yeah. And then probably Jim Carrey is a great nephew or something.
It's interesting how straight that mountain range is. I mean, I know it bulges on the one end a little, but it's so straight. It reminds me of like the Great Wall of China or something, like this is some kind of dividing line on purpose. Maybe this is a line of buildings. I don't know. It's just.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe the Great Wall of China, the same thing, but it didn't get completely decimated, whereas this one just got completely decimated.
Yeah, like you could walk from one end to the other right across this thing, or whatever.
And you guys showed me that there was what do you call it? Forests under deserts. So it's all open for business at this point. You can say anything happened because we don't know what the hell happened. How did places get covered with water and places get covered with sand and places get covered with mud? How? It's beyond our.
Well, you add water into the mix, shit's going to flow around. It's going to get all mixed up, covered up. That's what happened with Göbekli Tepe. They didn't bury that thing. It just got flowed over by mud.
Yeah. So, yeah, someone, if they know where, if you can find us the Mountains of the Moons, let us know. And I'll throw one more thing out in case Rasta Bear's in the chat. He told me to look into Mount Shasta because apparently Mount Shasta is just kind of one of those mountains that appeared in California. And so if you go biblical and you say Jesus tells you, hey, when you figure this shit out, if you look at a mountain and say move, it moves. Maybe these got moved. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe the mountain just appeared because it was a melted building. Now it's a mountain.
Yeah.
They say the same thing about the steps of Aragon in France. That these steps appeared overnight.
Fun times.
Yeah.
And I forget, was it who said it in the chat, but said I don't even know what to believe anymore, and I don't. None of us do.
Yeah, it's ever evolving, this story. We're trying to piece the true story together and erase his story and dismantle that.
It was Jason, by the way, Jason Star. But anyways, keep going.
So anyway, I got this shirt yesterday at a thrift store. I wasn't really looking for a shirt, but it says "Bless Your Heart," which is a Southern thing that they say here. Oh, bless your heart and all this stuff. But the thing is where it says "Bless your heart," the heart is on the left side. So wearing residue today, guys. Nice. Just wanted to point that out.
It's a walking Mandela effect.
I was like, I gotta get this. $2.
Good stuff.
Can't beat that.
Now, Tommy, you sent me something, the private chat. You want me to bring some of that up?
You can if you want. It's just all the maps that's been collected over time, and it's nothing.
Oh yeah, let's look at this stuff.
Yeah, why would we not want to see this?
Nice, right? Okay, you guys see this or no?
Yeah, zoom in. Let's see what's it, does it. Can we read what it says up top at all? Or are we able to read that? Is it in English?
It is not.
Okay.
Is it? No, I have no idea what that says.
Okay, so where are we at here? Is this the world map? What is this?
Oh, I'm looking at these things on the side.
Yeah, I'm looking at the characters on the very far left. Look at the guy with the head. What is that?
They're the winds, guys. They're the winds. These are the angels controlling the winds.
Oh my god! And I know we laugh at it because, like, Steve and I have obsessed beyond obsession with this. What what are they called, Steve? The seraphim, where they're like circles with eyeballs, and it's like, we're just.
Yeah, but that one guy has like 5 different eyeballs on his head. The one.
But that's my point. It's like we're used to what our brain thinks of as a person, as an animal, as a whatever. We've never seen these creatures in real life, and that might just be completely normal with dozens of eyes and arms and half whatever. That's just Sunday to them.
That's just George.
But I still would do a double take if that guy walked up in front of me.
But yes, Jen, I see what you're saying. You got the winds on all the corners of the earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very interesting.
If the guy has 5 eyes, which one do you look at when you talk to him? Sorry. I just
But it's interesting, though, that they have the heads. They're kind of human looking. We know about the 4 corners of the earth with the 4 angels controlling the winds and stuff.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But I think there's over 1,000 maps maybe in this folder. So it would take you forever to go through all of them.
I was gonna say, I need
we'll bust a couple through for sure.
Yeah. Is that the same one in color? That's cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Let's zoom back in.
What are the guys on the top corners' names? I didn't see that all.
Yeah, because they're like on the outside looking in.
Sam and Lafette. Yeah.
Lafette and Sam.
And down here it says I am or Cam. I'm sorry.
It looks like Cam.
Cam, yeah.
Anybody in the chat read Latin?
It's weird because the guy on the bottom looks like he's kind of holding it up.
Yeah. These guys are just overseeing it.
Now, so there's only 3 of them. There's not 4 guys. It's only 3 guys. Yeah, because
there might be a 4th guy, but they had to write on the map, so maybe
that would be for me the 4 angels at the 4 corners of the earth, and I think they have something to do with the dome and holding up the pillars as well. And he seems like he's holding something.
And the thing is, if you know their names, if you would probably say, okay, I see the 3, the 4th guy that's missing would be blah blah blah. I guess.
Wow, look at this. I like it because it seems like the heads have their names with them.
So you got Asia there.
Africa with a P.
Nice.
Was it Frafrica?
Africa.
Paprika. It's Paprika, not Africa. It's like Kansas and Arkansas. It's Arkansas.
Right. Well, just like the only evidence we have of the Tartarian people at all is tartar sauce.
Right.
Tartar sauce.
Interesting, dude. That one angel has glasses on. Does he have glasses on up there in the upper right hand corner?
Oh,
glasses?
Okay, now wait a minute. They wouldn't need glasses.
Why is he wearing glasses? What's his name? It begins with a V.
Is this a drunk map maker?
It's Elton John.
Nice.
No bueno.
Now look at that one. That one's just called Fricka. Or is the A missing? Go ahead and go closer.
No, you're right.
It's just called Fricka.
Fricka. Frickin' shit.
Get the frick out of here.
Get the frick out of here.
Florida.
So weird it's called Fricka.
Tropico di Cancer.
What do they have for the United States? So they calling the United States, what are they calling it?
Nueva Hispania and Florida.
Interesting.
Peru, Mexico, Brazil, they're all here.
And where's Cuba? It doesn't look as big as it does.
It's pretty far away. Very interesting.
And the fact it's got that almost looks like Nevada over there as well.
Yeah, right.
They wouldn't know that it'd be named that.
Right.
Interesting.
There's a map somewhere in this file. I'm not sure exactly where it is.
Where is Australia?
The map's dated 1492, and it has almost all the coastal cities in the United States already labeled. It has Florida and California.
I've been
labeled
telling
on
people that. I'm like, I think Manhattan's been there like pre-X Factor. Oh, it's not possible. Okay, you keep sniffing that, but
and see, I always knew, Zal, that Australia didn't exist, and it's not on that map.
That's what I was just saying. I didn't see Australia.
Tartary.
Alania. There's a place called Alania.
Yeah, I saw that.
Interesting.
And there's a Tartaria up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the top right.
Little Carter reaction.
The 1490, the
Other
1492 map that I was talking about that's in this file. It also, the center of the United States, it has the cities on the outside, but the center, it says, "Do not go. Giants live here."
I'm telling you, bro. I've been
Interesting.
Mhm.
Oh,
Excellent.
look at this Tartaria once again. Over here, over there, over here.
Look at all those tall buildings. It looks like skyscrapers and stuff.
Isn't it crazy?
Obelisks and stuff. I don't know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Windbreakers.
Yeah, that's what it is. Wow.
This is gnarly, man. Sheesh.
This is good stuff.
Is this like a link to a website, or he just sent you a bunch of photos?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at this.
Trying to zoom in. It's very hard.
That's what she said.
Relax.
That's what he said. I'll go on mute again.
Well, there's no like North America here. That's interesting.
Can you zoom in a little bit more?
It
in
must
Africa
still be
again?
underwater. I can't.
Oh, that's as close as we can get. Okay.
There's an upside down death skull over here, so that's cool.
Yeah, right. Blowing something up in the air.
That's not. Yeah.
But I'm trying to see, what does it say? Nilus? In
Where?
Africa. I'm looking at where the elephant is in Africa and trying to see those areas. Oops.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go.
So that's what happens when I zoom in. It just
Well, that works.
moves.
Just go back down to Africa. Oh, you can't. There you go. What's that say? Nilus Monticelung?
Yeah.
See, there's your Nile again, like you're saying, Jen, where it's just spider web down or tree trunk down. Barbaria Galilea. What is going on here?
Tartaria, Terry. A lot of that shit going around. That's crazy.
Yep, everything had different names before the X Factor. Everything got renamed and repurposed.
And it's such weird creatures in the sea. That must have been a nightmare sailing around.
Right? A little Persia action. Looks like this one's upside down. That's okay. It's probably how it actually is, but whatever.
And Melanie, I don't know the year of publishers. Tommy might know, but I think there's multiple ones here. Is that right, Tommy?
Multiple what?
Maps and publishers. These are all different.
Oh, they're all different. It's just a collection of old maps. And if you just click on that link, or you can give it to the chat if you want. I don't care if other people have access to it. It's just, like I said, over about 1,000 maps. But there are some really good ones on here, like the 1492 one. And if we go by, I saw in the chat that someone said, that Columbus was nonsense. That overshadows the other events that happened in 1492, according to mainstream history, because at the time, the Moors controlled the banking system, which are the Muslims, and they were run out of the area because the king owed more money to the banking system than he actually had. So they were actually in control of the country. But if he just declares them all outlaws and takes over the banks, he no longer has to pay his debts. They were gone. And then the Jews at the time were run out in 1492 as well, which had the ships. So now they have the ships to perpetuate this hoax that's going on, because they just looked at the first globe, which is coincidentally also 1492. And he looks at this globe before he sets sail, and he says, well, if I keep going west, I'm going to, find a different path to the Silk Road. I'm going to be in China. Yet when he lands in the New World, he's like, well, this is India. So it makes absolutely no sense. The whole thing's nonsense.
Yeah.
This is crazy, because if you look at this map too, like it says Florida, and then over here it almost says Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that fucked? Like what?
Wow.
Like 1490. This one, yeah. I'm not sure when this one's from, but like I'm sure there's no Chicago in 1574.
If you look up
yeah. Wait. Go back to that. Look at the date again. That's a J.
Yeah.
It's a J. Good eye. And it's a J period and then 5 period 74. I mean, this is so interesting. And at the very top of this supposed globe, you can see the ice ring, right? And it looks like there's structure up there too. If you look up beyond the ice,
actually, you look 1, 2, 3, 4. What were we looking at before?
The rivers. Yes,
exactly.
That's really cool.
Tartaria once again.
And that's again why my grandfather said you need a good map. That's where all this information still lies, I guess.
Exactly. That's kind of what Captain Cook described in his voyage in 1776. He talked about the land that was up there. He didn't say that it was, ice totally up there. He talked about the land that was up there. But that's just overshadowed by the other events in history they teach us in 1776. They never teach us about the impassable voyage, because he was pretty skilled, Captain Cook, at the time. And you can go on the CaptainCookSociety.org, and they've collected all his logs from all his voyages, and you can read them, and you can read all the descriptions of what he found when he went up there. But that's just something, and once again, they're not going to teach us because they got something what they feel like is more important for us to learn, to be indoctrinated with it. And they don't teach us about actual history of Captain Cook's voyages at the time and what happened up north.
Yeah, they had to have airships of some sort to get this type of accuracy from that visual.
Could you go back one picture, Steve? That was the Africa one again. Can you zoom in on that one at all or no? There we go. I just want to see if this area keeps changing and these mountains show up or not, other than that one map. I see why some maps call it
like
Fricka.
A rift here, but yeah.
Yeah,
the A is separate from the Fricka. That's kind of interesting.
Over here, Asia is AXIA. That's pretty strange.
And then where's the Atlantis area? Up in the top left
Up near
corner.
the F. Up near where the F is. Right there. I think that's where it would be.
Yeah.
So we're either below or above it.
What are the cities there on the coast say? Anything?
Can't really see if it'll clear up.
That's okay.
And is that the Nile running east to west there?
I was thinking
that's what it seems. But
yeah.
But there's also the Nile over there. They have two rivers because the Nile
yeah.
is still there. So, I mean, that could have been like a secondary.
There's your mountains. See? You found some.
Yeah, there's that part that drifts upwards.
I'm going to look back on my picture and see.
And look, it follows that river. If you connect those mountains you were just pointing to the river itself going west or going east over that way, across the Nile to the other river where it says FRI, that would be straight across like that mountain range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go above the A right there in Africa, I believe it says Nile.
It does. Let's go in. Does it say that there?
There's two ways in Africa. Which A?
The first one. It says something there with an N.
N-I.
Well, I mean, it'd be very close to that.
N-I-M-V, maybe?
Nyan.
Yeah, it looks like Nyan.
With a J, maybe, at the end? Or an I?
I don't know.
Or is that just land? I don't know. But that's very interesting. These two rivers could have connected. You see what I'm saying? And they could have maybe broke it off to where they don't connect anymore and they can't use both. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This looks pretty strange.
Wow. Very interesting. So these are like the ley lines on the globe model. But if you put them on the flat thing, it would, so you could see all the intersecting points. These would be key nodal points and intersecting ley lines. These are extremely high energy points.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it looks like they have LA, which would probably be Louisiana, right here on the Gulf Coast. Interesting, as Louisiana wasn't a thing yet. So cool. There's some anomalies.
What is this?
Wow, let's let it clear up. Not too sure. Asia?
What's this big circle in the center? Is this a lake? What is it? Water?
I don't know. It's in a different language, but it seems to
be. Maybe it's the Caspian Sea. I don't know. Caspiv. I can't read that. Tartaria is up top. You can see Tartaria right there on the very top.
Mm-hmm. Very crazy. Oh, there's another one over here. Yeah, Tartaria is everywhere. Yeah.
Tartaria on the top there. Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting. There's a lot of stuff circling that body of water there. It's very rigid looking and stuff.
A lot of all of them are, yeah. Very interesting.
Look at those mountains. There's Mount Lion.
Where?
Right there above your arrow.
Oh yeah. Mount PT. Mount Anna. Crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I looked at that picture of the mountains of the moon, and it curled right where that still had a few mountains on another map.
On the curl, right?
Yeah. But the rest of it wasn't there. I also found that they say that the Nile has two names, the White Nile and the Blue Nile. I didn't know that.
Well, maybe that's because there is two Niles, and one's a white Nile, one's a blue Nile. Maybe that there's two. I mean, I don't know. This is crazy. This river that runs east to west. Now, if you look at all the ruins in Greece, in Italy, in Northern Africa, and if you put that center, putting that as the center of our plane, and this is where they tell us mostly all the oldest ruins are in this area here, which would be the dead center bullseye of the center of the plane.
Yeah, right up in here.
Yeah, all that area. That's the center ring for your bullseye map for where the center is that you had up originally for your thumbnail. And that's where the most oldest ruins are found. Which they're not older. They're just more ruined because that was the epicenter, I feel. I could be wrong. Just saying.
Right? We all could. That's the fun thing about this.
Once again, look at your North Pole, 4 separate islands, 4 rivers, and no clear center point.
Yeah, I have a North Pole on my old atlas too, and it has a few cities named on it, which is interesting because North Pole doesn't exist in this reality.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on that they don't want us to know about in so many different locations.
What's going on in here, yo? This looks pretty cool.
Looks techie.
Right? I'm not too sure where this is.
It's India right there in the center. And then it'd be China and Russia off to the right.
Everywhere you look is Tartaria.
All roads lead to Rome, right? Or Tartaria.
Yeah, apparently Belgium's hanging out up here too. I don't know what that's about. It's the third time I've seen Belgium in like a China region.
That's strange.
Steve Voynich doesn't even know where he lives.
Well, look at this. We were talking about Jen. Greece, Italy, Rome.
Mary says Jen will be up all night for years, like looking at these maps.
Oh my God, yes.
You're right, Mary. I'm going to be going over these with a fine-tooth comb. Well, I got my magnifying glass out and stuff.
Hey, Steve,
got it right here. Look, it's right here.
Let me share this again real quick.
What do you got?
Let's see. Clickety click. Clickety click.
Clickety click clack.
Okay. How do I make this?
Click clack, motherfucker. Click clack.
Man.
This is what I've got in this atlas. And there's up here at the North Pole, there's Alexandria, Franz Joseph Land.
What?
Oh, and there's Spitsbergen.
Spitsbergen.
All in this landmass that doesn't exist. And
that right there would be considered the world ocean, I think, up there. Or, yeah. It kind of connects all the oceans because it goes around. Like, if you look at the center, the original center flat map thing that you had, you'll see that, it's considered like the world ocean because it connects all the oceans.
And Australia's back on this one, Sal, so just so you know. He's worried that he doesn't exist.
Look at that, though. Go back to that Go back to Australia right there. It looked like it was far away from. Oh, maybe it is close to Java and Papua New Guinea or whatever that is. I don't know. Philippines.
What's cooking down here?
Not a whole lot. It's pretty cold.
Nice.
But no, it looks like there's a barrier rim there of stuff going around, like chain of mountain range there. Yeah, what's
Look at all
that?
these lands. You got Knox Land, Bud Land. I want to go to Bud Land.
Yeah, that's where we need to go.
Sabrina, the
Yeah,
Teenage Witch Land. What?
but now when you look at a map and you look down there at the islands, one of the places the cruises take you, it's called Deception Island.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was
I'm
going
sure
to
there's
mention
nothing
that.
to that, right?
And
Yeah,
the one place you never want to go, Disappointment Bay. No bueno, right, Steve?
Apparently not.
Yeah, you don't want to go there. It says disappointment. You're only going to be disappointed. Don't go. That's probably where you really want to go because that's where a lot of shit is.
Right?
These names that deter people.
Totally.
Looks like New
What's cooking?
Zealand's gone though.
Oh yeah, where's New Zealand?
Maybe it curls around the other side of the globe. No, it's not there. It's nowhere.
Look how far away Tasmania is from Australia. That's been Mandela affected because it's a lot closer now. That's some residue right there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you, Brian? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I love the whole geography, Mandela effects and stuff, which is our reality or God showing us that this isn't what it's not real. It's not right. It's not correct. It's not true to its nature. This is why it's changing.
Well,
Look,
I remember this is a boot kicking a football, and now it's a high heel that's almost
and look how
touching
far
grease.
away Sicily is. Now, if you look at the maps now, it's right up on it. Here you can see a clear space between it. And that's the way I remember it. There was space between it. They're not like kissing each other like they are now.
Yeah, you can swim across, I would think, now.
But look, if we were in a court of law and his story kept changing, you would know it was a lie, right? Well, his story, his maps, his globes, it's all changing. It's because it's not true.
Yeah, what's with Spitsbergen? That's kind of... And the new Siberian island. So what happened to the old Siberian island?
Interesting.
That's the thing. When I was a kid, I used to ask, "Oh, New York, where's Old York? New Hampshire, where's Old Hampshire?
Yeah,
Where'd they go?"
they're all in England.
Yeah, well, we never left England. It's over here.
That's why we have New England.
Yeah, right. There you go. See, we answered our own question.
Yeah.
Anybody want to go to Goose Island? God, be careful out there, man. That's where the TSA trains.
He said, "God, be careful out there."
Is
TSA
China on
trains
here? I
too.
have not seen China on any of these maps.
No, you
I'm
got
just saying,
Siberia.
where the fuck is China?
This is the Union of Socialistic Soviet Republics.
Nice.
And
Good
you got
people.
ass over here. Oh, no, sorry. Asia. You got to make sure you scroll all the way.
Are you racist?
Will you stop it with that? What is everywhere? God. Okay, what we got?
It's all asses and elbows for CeilingFanMan.
All asses and elbows, exactly. That's another T-shirt. Look at this mountain. Okay. Okay, what is this? We got we're back in Asia. Okay. I mean, I don't have to keep showing my maps. You were showing your maps.
I mean, there's about 6,900 more maps to show, but
well, this is interesting. Somebody, again, whoever owned this, they circled these things. Wonder why. Well, why are these?
Maybe these are
specifically-
places that they're going to visit.
Or maybe this is where, like, you know, bones of Gilgamesh and the Ark of the Covenant are buried. And I found this book that the other side wants to get a hold of. Where are all these things? Mount Carmel, Nazareth. Oh, I've heard of that place. Does anything good come out of Nazareth, Steve?
Jesus.
I'd hope so.
No, you guys, come on. That's a Bible story that I thought was hilarious. They're like, hey, this guy, he's the son of God. And where's he from? Nazareth. And one of the guys goes, oh, come on. Can anything good come out of Nazareth? It's in the Bible. It cracked me up. Yeah.
That's why he came out of Nazareth, because nobody thinks anything. Because that's why he was born in a manger, a manger, because, you know, they expected the King of Kings to be, you know, like a kingly person. He's meek, he's humble, he's ordinary, just like us. And he says, everything I can do, you
fit their bid.
What's the Transjordan? Huh. Weird.
It's like Michael Jordan, but Michelle Jordan.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yeah,
Michael Michelle. Michael Michelle.
Look at this place. They don't know if it's called Edom or Idumma. Yeah.
It just depends on what day of the week it is and how much you had to drink.
Yeah, it's either Edom or I dummy. Hey, dummy.
I don't know.
And the other thing that's talked about in end times is the Dead Sea come back to life, and they found nautical life fish and stuff have reappeared.
Really?
Yeah, that happened. You guys can look that up.
Recently?
Oh, within the last few years.
Wow.
Yep. It just started getting life in the Dead Sea again. Nothing to see there. And then there was a red calf born, and that's another prophecy supposedly. But I didn't ever see that one in the Bible.
Isn't there something about a white buffalo or a white bull or something somewhere? I don't know.
Some of these are folklore that have been attached to it. Some are actual scripture, and others are maybe like other related books kind of thing. But the Dead Sea coming to life, that was in the Bible, and that's happening. So I think we already covered this map, so I'll stop sharing.
And then you said, Flatfellow, about the Nile drying up. That's in the Bible too, or
It's in Revelations.
Okay. So we have two things
happening
here.
right now. So
This is nuts, guys. Told you this is biblical stuff.
Oh, it's all coincidences. What's the matter with you, Jen?
Oh God, you should have seen me in Walmart earlier. So we're in checkout, and I started talking, and I get loud because there's people around me, and I know that they can hear me. So I was like, this is biblical what we're going through. I said it says in Thessalonians that Jesus kills the man of lawlessness with the breath of his mouth. I said, y'all are inverting the breath of your mouth right now. And they're all just looking at me like, oh shit, this girl might be right.
Well, it's hard to argue with someone as you've got a mask on covering your face,
Yeah. Thou shalt not cover thy mouth.
That's rule 1.
Well, I listened to some other streams where they talk about the original Hebrew text, pre-Saint Jerome, before the translations into Latin, and the Hebrew translation, I believe, does not say the hand and the forehead, but it says the part for the forehead actually translated to the mouth and chin. So that would be the mask.
Wow.
There it is.
There it is, guys.
Cool.
That's what's up.
Because whenever St. Jerome, he took over and he started doing some translations, he was, big on puns. So like when he talked about the forbidden fruit, he used the word malus, because in Latin, the word malus means evil and it means apple. So he used that word kind of to symbolize the evil fruit. But it wasn't until in Paradise Lost where when he looked at the Latin text, he used the word malus and translated as apple, and that's where the whole story of the apple came from, only because of a pun that a guy 1,000 years before put in, because he was big on putting puns in the Bible and in the translations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's very interesting, to say the least. But
That's a wonderful thing. We bridge all these different communities and stories and stuff, because, I mean, you've probably saying these things, you've heard them a bunch of times already, Tommy, but at least for me and a lot of people in this audience, these are new things, and thank you. This is great.
I mean, I always strive to learn something new every day. What do you got, Jen?
Milton's Paradise Lost. This is an original. Guys, this is from...
Hold it up again.
Yeah, I'll have to hold it up again. Hang on.
Got you big now.
Milton's Paradise Lost has got sticky notes in it because we did a show on the 9 Circles of Hell and Paradise Lost. But I have to look up the date on here with my magnifying glasses. It's 18 something. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a minute of this. Find the date on it.
No
worries. But yes, original copy here, and I already looked it up. It's worth about almost $200. 1879.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the oldest book that I have in my house right now. This one here, and it goes into Tartarus, and Tartarus being turned to Ipsi, and Ipsi means like upside down or sideways. And paradise, para means adjacent to or just on the other side of. Para paradise, and we're supposed to be in paradise, and then the 9 circles of hell are below us. So para would be that we're adjacent to or just on the other side of hell. Remember, we kept seeing paradise at the top of our 9 circles of hell cone thing that we were looking at, Steve?
Yeah.
And up top it said paradise. But yeah, I got all kinds of sticky notes in here and stuff. It's like the Bible that I have. And okay, so here's the one that they give you in the book for, I think this one is for hell. As you can see,
it's the same kind of basic shape, geometric shape as we've seen in all of these things. The Atlantis, the volcanoes, everything.
Yeah, especially in the eye of the Sahara, almost indistinguishable.
Lake of fire in the middle.
Imagine that. Dry desert. Imagine that.
Yeah, so
that looks exactly like.
Wait, what?
So what CeilingFanMan did earlier when he was showing this Kilimanjaro, it looks exactly like that with the opening there in the center, and then kind of like the rings outward.
Yeah,
it looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
It does. And this is oh shit, do I have it upside down? I think I
did.
Look.
Yes. There you go. As above, so below. There you go.
So yeah, this is supposed to be your journey through hell, what it looks like, the empty realm and stuff.
Chaos
and all this other crazy stuff.
The fall. That's nice.
That would be like a linear version of it.
But you notice the world is in the chaos zone, of course.
Why wouldn't it be?
Exactly. Well, that's the Satan trick, so we got to get out of it.
And it also has another thing in here that I have to show you guys. It's got the Parthenon, I think. I have to find it. This is a really good book. Here's another depiction of hell in our world here. It's chaos and stuff, the realm of chaos and night. The vacuum of infinite space. I mean, I don't know why they call it that or whatever, but you could see that circular thing here in the center, Steve's like the 9 circles of hell and the starry heavens above, like we saw on CERN. That sculpture. Let me see here. What else we got? I haven't had time to paint my nails or do anything with my nails, guys. We have a cord of wood that we just loaded up on the side of the house. So I'm sorry if my nail polish is a little messy today.
We've been moving wood around too. It's this time.
Yeah, we just got that cord delivered. I'm getting ready for winter time. It's no joke. I'm not messing around with these people. I don't want anything from them.
It's already starting to get really cold up here.
It did. It's like a switch just went off or something. And suddenly
same thing happened here.
60 degrees.
Yeah, like it was 60 degrees some days in the summer, but it's a whole different 60 degrees now, you know? It's a see your breath 60 degrees, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And here there was no warning either. It was just like nice day, and then we were lighting fires in the fireplace like overnight.
I can't find this. This isn't a very big book, and I can't find this.
Well, if you want to look for another second.
Oh, the firmament of hell. Look, I got to read you guys this real quick. It talks about the firmament of hell here, okay? It says, under you, boiling ocean, wrapped in chains, there to converse with everlasting groans. I don't know what that word is. Unpitted, unreprived, ages of hopelessness. Hold on, where does it say this firmament thing at? Did I miss it? Oh, gosh. I have it marked here somewhere. Okay, here it is. What if all her stories were opened and this firmament of hell should spout out her cataracts of fire? So it talks about the firmament of hell, which is very strange because we have a firmament. You know what I'm saying? I've surmised a few times that we may be actually in hell, but I don't know for sure.
Well, there could be multiple firmaments. I mean, there's the one that encapsulates everything, and then smaller areas. Yeah, because I honestly believe that's how it works. I think once you figure out at least the connection to the Creator, not only do you understand there's a firmament covering all of us, but you can have your own personal little firmament, and then when you work on it, you can extend it out farther to your house, to your land, you know what I mean? I just envision you can make it larger and larger. And one last thing before Jen hits this, Tommy, you mentioned on that last stream, I forgot to talk to you about the firmament. And your question is like, wouldn't it be closer on, if you go farther south? But if you go with the living space is more in the center, then the actual place where it would probably curve around, it's going to be way past what we're even thinking.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
So this is here where it talks about Tartarus in Dante's Inferno, and it's also talking about the shades. Now, Steve, I don't know if you remember the shades from hell, but instead of having a spirit, when you're in hell, you have a shade. It's like a shade of yourself. It's like a dark spot, they call it shade. Anyway, Virgil, this is the guy who's taking his trip through the 9 circles of hell, measuring from the surface of the earth and, of course, including Hades, says, then Tartarus itself sinks deep down and extends towards the shades twice as far as the prospect upwards to the ethereal throne of heaven. So I'll read that again. Then Tartarus itself sinks deep down. So we're talking about mud flood stuff and Tartary or Tartaria being covered with mud and stuff. I mean, I just found that interesting that it says that's in here about Tartarus itself sinks deep down and extends towards the shades twice as far as the prospected upward to the etheric throne of heaven. So it's just some crazy stuff in here.
Hey, Steve.
What's up, bud?
Oops, let me share this again.
And there's this picture here. They have this in here too, which is the Parthenon.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's interesting. And we've covered this building before.
You see this?
Like that picture.
I love this picture, yeah. But hey, Tommy, so like if you're saying if all the living space we know is going to be right here, this actually doesn't start to even see, that's why I think there's potential. It's like a ball kind of shape, because this firmament goes all the way around, all the way underneath us, below shale, and around us.
And that would be like a snow globe, kind of like
that would be like a globe, right?
Yeah.
And then you'd have or a terrarium kind of thing. You'd have the living space here, but the dome actually goes way out here, so we wouldn't even be able to probably get close to seeing the edges. What do you think, Tom?
It's also the same shape that we've been seeing over and over again. That outer ring, that is the outer concentric circle, followed by the next concentric circle, and then we're in the center, the living space, just like Atlantis was. So it all seems to be going back to that same shape, which is very odd.
That's wild. Yeah. All right. There's some good gravy on this show.
I agree with that. I'm painting my nails right now, guys. I'm so embarrassed that they're a mess. I don't go to nail salons, okay? I'm very low maintenance. I cut my own hair. I dye my own hair when I dye it, and I paint my own nails if I want them painted. I don't, very, very low maintenance. I don't even buy expensive nail polish. I buy cheap stuff. Anyway.
Well, we got a couple hours into it. What do you guys think?
I was gonna say I got nothing else on my end unless you guys have something else you want to send, share, or just get off your chest real quick. But we still have almost 100 here.
Well, first I want to revert to Tommy. What else you got? Anything that we should definitely know before we stop talking about Atlantis?
Well, one of the things I didn't mention, which was another one of the 30 things, is that as flat earthers, we know that when you talk about winds, the only place you can have winds from the north would be in the northern hemisphere. And when Plato described Atlantis, he said that the mountains to the north of Atlantis protected it from the winds to the north. So that would establish that it's in the northern hemisphere. And we look at this area in Africa, that's exactly where it's at. And it says that the mountains had flowing rivers that all flowed towards Atlantis. And if we look at the mountains in pictures that we were looking at earlier, you can see the old rivers that all flowed inward towards Atlantis. So it's all matches up, down to the T. And there's no other location on Earth. So I don't think this is Atlantis. It's to the point now, after looking at it for 12 years, that I know it's Atlantis. And it's, okay, well, why can't we go there? Why are they hiding it? So then the speculation comes until we can go there and discover it.
Yeah, we got to go. We got to set up a trip and sneak in and
road trip.
Yeah, once the mainstream wants to hide something from the public, there's red flags all around.
We'll get a
100%.
GoFundMe page and we'll set up our. Well, we'll have to say it's for another location so they don't know.
Why trip to Atlanta? Oh yeah, you're right. We should. Yeah.
We're gonna go save those elephants.
That's right. That's another weird thing I was going to look into. My entire life, I remember they tell me elephants, specifically, the only animal I know of, that they all walk off to a specific area to die. That story just seems weird to me. I don't know of another animal that goes to a specific area and all die in the same place.
What?
I know, yeah, isn't that true, Tommy? Do the elephant graveyards, aren't they all in one place?
Yeah.
Elephant
That's
graveyards?
why. Yeah, if they die from natural causes, they walk to a certain area to go die. They actually some researchers followed this elephant that was really old, and they followed him too because he broke away from the herd, and they were wondering, okay, there's no water in that area. Why is that elephant going over there? And he got to an area where there was a bunch of elephant bones already there, and he just kind of lays down and dies. So he knew where he was going.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's so weird how they do that. I don't get
That's
it. There's
awesome.
a calling to them.
Have you ever looked at an elephant skull? It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy looking.
I don't think, unless it was on your stream, that's probably the only place I would have seen it, but no.
They're really crazy looking skulls and jawbones and stuff. Just saying.
Well, if you guys don't have anything else that we're going to discuss before we head out, I told Steve, I was hoping to talk to Brian or Karen, but they're too busy for me. That's fine. I'll talk to them later. But, I'm big screen? This is silly. It's not that big of a deal, Steve. I was talking to Steve, and if Rasta Bear's around, he's the one that pretty much created this whole system. And anyways, long story short, I'm dilly-dallying. I'm going to come to Flattoberfest, so I'll be there if you guys want to see me.
You're going to be there?
I'm going to be there.
Awesome, brother.
You're going to be there? Oh
I'm
my
gonna
God,
be
this is going to be so good. I can't wait.
There was too much peer pressure. I gave in, and I don't know where I'm staying. Hopefully, Karen will work her magic like she did with Stu McLevin. But if not, I'm sure I can crash in someone's couch or a car.
We could flip a coin, bro. We'll be all right.
So I'm not worried about crashing somewhere, but I'm going to be in town.
This is awesome. I can't wait. This is going to be really good.
So, Richard, you might be in luck with the place to crash. You'll have to talk with Dr. La. We actually booked 2 rooms at the Marriott right there where everyone's staying, and one of them we're not using. Richard Lopez is going to take one of the beds, but there's 2 beds in there. So you talk to Dr. La. There's an open spot.
I'll talk with you after the show or so. Oh, excellent. So I'm going to be there. I guess the chat notices now. Hi, chat.
Woo! I'm excited.
Well, I found out that the entire airport in that one city, they have that hat. I can't wait to buy one of those. Charlotte hat. Have you seen them?
Yeah. What is it?
Oh, you'll see them when you get there.
I don't know what he's talking about either, but I can't wait. Look at that. See Uncle CeilingFanMan.
Yeah, I guess I'm some. How did I become uncle? Mark calls me his uncle. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I can't wait. That'll be definitely a good time. Everyone's gonna be there. We're gonna kick some ass, take some names.
Talk about move mountains. You guys got me out there. I don't even know how it happened.
The whole family's going to be there. The whole family's going to be there.
Wow. So,
can't wait.
I think I'll be out. I'll be overhugged by the time I leave there. I can't wait to meet y'all.
Yes. Yeah,
your arms gonna be bruised from everyone squeezing.
Right?
You're gonna come home, Gene. He's gonna think he got mugged. That's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, guys, if that's all we got, that's good stuff. We can wrap this up. We've been going for 2 hours or so, and we've covered everything. We've covered the entire continent of Africa, I think. So we nailed that out of the park, and Tommy definitely put Atlantis on a tee and hit it right down the middle. So
yeah.
And I feel we just scratched the surface with Tommy and Atlantis, honestly.
Definitely. We're going to have you on again, bro, and we'll definitely have to configure something.
Yeah, we got to go over more of those maps, too, because you said you still have a lot left to go through. And,
Yeah, what day is everyone traveling for the fest?
I'm leaving Friday night.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm flying in and late Friday night. So yeah. What about you, Tommy?
He
I'll
was
probably
5 minutes.
You're already
ride up
down
there.
there, right? You'll be waiting at the airport.
He'll probably
forever.
wake up and roll out of bed and get in the car.
So, yeah.
That's the plan, actually, to meet up with it, because we got a truck that's picking everybody up from the southern part of the state and then rolling past my house and gonna pick me up, and we're all rolling together, the Kakalaki crew.
That's
Nice.
what's up. Dude. That's
Kakalaki.
sick.
And I'm assuming I'm supposed to be getting a ride with Rasta Bear and Carrie. So because I'm getting there around the same time as them, so early Saturday.
Yeah. That's cool. Like I said, I'll be flying in late. So if anyone wants to stick around late and hook me up with a ride, let me know. But
We have got to get one huge picture of all of us together. It's going to be epic.
What? Just one?
one professional, little Christmas card
Well,
looking.
I think they're doing a big one up at the sign, but I won't be there for that. I think that's Friday.
Yeah.
So
Well, definitely Saturday we'll have to do it.
That's good stuff. I can't wait. This is going to be definitely gnarly for sure.
And if you guys are around on the Monday, we got street activism there in Spartanburg as well.
Oh, for real? Because I don't fly out till like 6 or 7 o'clock, so definitely count me in for that. There's no one to do it with up here. Like I go stand by myself, but I feel like they think I'm homeless or something. So, so if we got a group of people, I'm so there.
Well, it'll be like you're working because they'd be giving you money.
There'll be a bunch of us there. Just Jack, Critical Inception coming, all the Kakalaki crew. So there'll be a whole bunch of us there.
Good shit, man. I can't wait. We're gonna get in, bro. That's what's up. But all right, on that note, I think we're gonna end it here. Thanks for coming, everyone. In the chat, we had over 100 on both channels collectively, so that was cool. All you guys in the chat, we love you, and hopefully we'll see most of you guys in a couple days and in person. But I'm gonna try to beat Bop around. We'll be on figure out a stream here or there before then. I'm gonna try to do one Thursday night, maybe even Friday before I leave, because I took both of those days off anyways. So everyone at work thinks I leave on Thursday. So wink, wink. But on that note, we're gonna end it before we get